I put them in different places around the room, so you're going to do some moving around, and then we are going to actually look at what it means to build up a team, how that happens, and then you're going to practice, coaching practice, and then we'll do a wrap-up. And the coaching practice is going to take the longer bulk of our time because you're going to be in 3 groups, 3 different scenarios, and you have to kind of coach someone through a situation, okay? Whether it's someone that's repetitively late, whether it's someone that doesn't do their task. Just think about in a work or organization situation that they kind of make them realistic, okay? All right? So for the story, what I'm going to share with you, anybody into Greek mythology at all? Okay, all right, well, I happen to be a fan. And for those of you that are familiar with the story, it'll be a refresher. And if you're not, there'll be a great Cliff Note version. What I'm going to ask you to do, though, as I share this story, I'm going to ask you, looking at those kind of skills of leadership and coaching, okay? All right, so I'll ask you to think of, what do you think it means to be able to lead a team? So, not those coaching skills, that's for you later. But just think about, what are some skills needed to lead a team? And when I share about this story, how do you hear our protagonists? What are some skills that they demonstrated, definitely showing they knew how to lead a team? What does an effective team leader have to be able to have, right? So we'll listen. Okay. So this is the story. Ulysses was given the task of going on a long journey, but he found out that in order for him to get to his destination, he was going to have to go by the island of the Sirens. Now, the Sirens were particularly notorious because they were very beautiful women, almost enchantingly so, magically so, and their voices are what even added to their sheer beauty. They sang, so imagine, Beyonce level singing, right? And it would hypnotize sailors. And the reason they wanted to sort of hypnotize the sailors is because it would cause the boats to crash. They would cannibalize them and use their bones to make instruments to lure another group of sailors, right? So Ulysses knew, and for people that ask, well, maybe it could go another way, there was no other way. He knew he had to go by this island of the Sirens in order to complete his journey. So this is what he did. He gathered his men and he said this: I want you to tie me to the mast of this ship. Wrap me in leather strings. And no matter what I do not release me. And also, I need each of you to put beeswax into your ears. And watch me. No matter what you see me doing, do not let me go. And he did an agreed upon signal that when he would put his head to his chest, that would let them know to release him. So they did exactly as he instructed. They tied him first, then they put the beeswax in their ears, then they sailed past the island of the Sirens. Now, the rest of the story ends up saying that he began to strain so much against those leather ropes that it cut into his skin. They said his eyes even became deformed because his eyeballs tried to jump out at the singing of these women. However, just as he instructed, his men did not release him until the agreed upon signal. He sailed past. So let's just break down what things did Ulysses do as a team leader? What are some things that he did in that instant?
He gave very specific instructions.
Gave very specific instructions, okay?
Yes.
Yes, Janice.
He gathered them together. He said, come and let's meet. He didn't say you or everybody.
Gathered everyone together, kind of clear communication, everybody at one time. Okay, good. Something else that he did. What's another skill that he demonstrated?
Preparation.
Preparation. Preparation. Doing that, thinking ahead. Vision, right? Right? Okay. Thinking, how about Ulysses in the present thought about Ulysses in the future? Right? If I do not do this now, Ulysses in the future is gonna be crashed up and cannibalized by some nice singing women. And all my men are going to die as well, because I'm their leader, right? Okay? So if we think about some leadership characteristics we've heard, have to have vision, think ahead, strategic thinking, right? Preparation, good communication skills, okay? See yourselves as we get ready to look at what type of leader that you are. If someone can open us up just with this quote, this is a kind of normal my teaching style, someone nice and loud, just please read this quote, Leanne.
If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. John Quincy Adams.
Okay, and if you had to tell us, Leanne, real quickly, what do you think former President Adams wanted us to understand by making that quote? What did he mean?
Leaders inspire others.
Leaders inspire others. Would we agree?
To do.
Inspiration. So even going back to our example, Ulysses had to inspire
Right.
his men. What do you think his inspiration might have been? Simply,
Like
you want to live? Do you want to stay alive? Do you want to stay alive? Then do this, right? Okay, all right. So what we're going to do now, that kind of gave us looking at what it looked like, right? Imagine, here we are. So we'll just hold that, leave that there for now. What I'm going to ask you to do is, I'm going to ask you to think about what are your leadership styles, and I'm going to give you an example of each. We have, so let me say all of them, then I'll give you about 10 seconds, and I'm going to ask you to go over to the spot or the space of the one that you feel most represents you. And one here, unfortunately, come on the wall, but I'll pick that up. Oh, I should get from the front. I'm sorry. Could someone pick that one up over there? Okay. Autocratic. Autocratic is you direct the action. You direct the action. An example is Margaret Thatcher, the first female prime minister of the United Kingdom. Okay? Autocratic. You are the one that direct the action. The next one is delegated. Okay? You are the one, for being delegated, you distribute the task. So you tell what has to be done, but you let the group figure out how it's going to get accomplished. Okay? An example, those of you into Harry Potter, I'm not really, but this is the example that they gave in my book. Gandalf, Harry Potter's mentor. He is considered delegated. Okay? Is that more like how you are? Okay? So fine, sorry, gotta go down. Okay. Next one, Democratic. Democratic. You lead what with feedback from the group. You lead with feedback from the group. The example, Nelson Mandela, first black president of South Africa. The fourth one, transactional. You lead, but for a specific objective. A specific objective. An example would be a sports coach. The goal, win the game. An example, of course, Bill Belichick. Okay? Last one, transformational. You lead for major goals. So distinguish it from transactional, that's under pressure. Transactional leaders lead under pressure because that objective, short term, has to be accomplished. Transformational leaders, they lead, but it's not under pressure because it's not one objective, it's a series of goals. So the example that I cited, John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy, okay? All right? So again, if we look at